Shabbat Shalom from Temple Concord. This week our Torah portion starts with a reminder of what we're supposed to say and how we're supposed to think as we bring our first offerings into the temple. And so the situation is the Israelites are on the border preparing to enter into the land, and they know that when they plant they'll reap the harvest and they'll bring their first fruits to the temple, and the first things out of their mouth is to be, I was a wandering Aramaean. My father was a wandering Aramaean, and he went down to Egypt and suffered there, but rose up and came out. And I was a stranger in a strange land. That's what we're supposed to start with. And we hear that phrase again and again, all through Passover and all throughout Torah, of remembering our heritage as being wanderers, as being aliens in a new place, as being immigrants. And so the question then is, so how should we handle that in our own world today? I think our tradition has a pretty clear understanding that we need to be good to the stranger, that we need to give the stranger the benefit of the doubt, that fear is not the overriding emotion when dealing with the stranger. And even though in the public arena we're hearing fear all over the place, and we're hearing crisis and all sorts of things, the question is to pull back to a human level. We too have been wanderers. We too have been foreigners. How did we wish to be treated? And once we answer that question, we know what we need to do with those at our doorsteps today. Our tradition reminds us that we were wanderers, and people were sometimes good and sometimes not good, and our responsibility as Jews is to be better, is to reach out to the foreigner, to reach out to the stranger, and make them feel at home, and care for them, and welcome them, so that they can live in safety and security, and they can build a new life just as we have tried to do throughout our history. We need this reminder now in our world, in our community, in our country, and we need to share it with others. I'll be speaking about this a little bit more at the High Holidays, but I couldn't resist because it begins right at the very beginning of the Torah portion. And it's again and again we see this in our Torah. We are commanded to look out for the stranger because we were strangers. This is what it means to be a Jew. And in our times today, in our world today, we need to hear that call and we need to heed that call. I hope you'll join us as we continue to do that holy work here in the synagogue and in our community and in our country. Friday evening, our services will be at 6 o'clock. We have a Tat Shabbat service at 5 o'clock. Saturday morning, Torah study at 10, services at 11. Saturday evening is Selichot, where we begin the formal process of entering into the New Year's and the High Holidays. And we will be changing over the mantles from our blue to our white. And just as we dedicated the new blue mantles a few weeks ago, we'll be dedicating the new white mantles this coming Saturday evening. We have a wonderful program arranged. We have a couple of professors from Rochester coming in. They have done historic research and scientific research on one of our Torah scrolls and can be able to share with us some of the history of where that scroll comes from and how we ended up with it here in our own synagogue and in our hands. So it promises to be a wonderful evening and a wonderful conversation. That will begin at 8 o'clock. There will be an oneg, of course, after that. And then services probably around 10-ish, depending on how long the discussion goes and all of that, but give or take around 10. Sunday morning we have religious school, confirmation, and our Shofar Blowers Choir is meeting at 1:30. So if you are full of hot air and interested in joining the Shofar Choir, give me a buzz and let me know, or join us on Sunday at 1:30. For now, though, I hope you'll hear the words of the Torah portion, and I hope you'll join in with me in remembering our heritage as strangers and as wanderers, and use that memory as fuel to reach out to those who are strangers and foreigners in our midst, and be good to them and help them and reach out to them so that they can have the better world and they can find their promised land just as we look for ours. Shabbat Shalom for now. Look forward to seeing you at the temple.